What is up, all you art freaks? Today, we are going to talk about why your artwork should be different. Again, very big question. I have some answers for you. I decided once again to ask ChatGPT. So I was like, hey, ChatGPT, why should you be different in the art world? And it gave me all this great advice, like usual. But we're going to comb through it, see which parts are good advice, which parts are bad advice. You know, another thing I like about ChatGPT is that you can do follow-up questions. So you ask the question once, then you kind of ask it again. So the second part of my question, the first part was why you should be different. Then I said, well, does this mean I should be different? So it's kind of a two-part question I gave the old ChatGPT. And I do like what it came up with. Not too bad, not too shabby, the advice. Now, before we get into that, I got to do it. I got to do a quick plug for my Patreon account. I can't avoid that. I'm sorry. But hey, if you want to learn how to paint like a magician, go check out my artwork over on my Patreon account or my tutorials. Not my artwork, my tutorials on my Patreon account. I have some artwork on there too. So definitely check that out too. But go over to my Patreon account, check out the tutorials. I have right now, I think I'm at 25 tutorials, which is a pretty good number. If you go through those 25, you go through every single one of them, you're going to come out of it a better artist. All right, back to what we're talking about. What does the ChatGPT think that we should do as artists? Should we be different? Should we be complete weirdos? Should we dial it back a little bit? Do we need to make our art so different that they want to lock us up in an insane asylum because your artwork is so freaky and weird that you have gone off the deep end and they put you away forever and throw away the key? That's always a possibility. And there are artists out there that probably do deserve to get put away somewhere. Maybe I'm one of them. Who knows? We'll find out. Only time will tell. As you can see though, with this artwork that I'm painting today, it is kind of I don't want to call it freaky, but the one I'm painting today does have some interesting stuff happening with it. This new model I've been using, Marley, she has awesome bone structure. So I'm really capturing that cheekbone in this painting. I'm really accentuating that cheekbone. It's almost the focal point of this painting. So you're going to watch that as I'm talking about how different should you be in the art world? What are the advantages of being different? All that kind of stuff. All right, so number one, ChatGPT says individuality and authenticity. 100% agree. I don't think there is a more obvious number one, and ChatGPT nailed it with its first answer, individuality and authenticity. Okay, just like you, me, everybody in the world, we're all individuals. We all have something unique to say. The key is not being afraid to say it. Now, my artwork is very much about evolving and growing into the person we're supposed to become. The color is sort of symbolic of the external forces latching on to the subject and making the person in each of my paintings decide on something, decide on what their next move is. I think that is pretty consistent through all my work, and that's the unique thing I'm trying to say, and each work says something a little bit different. So I would definitely say, make sure you're an individual with your work. Do not try to get into a place where you're trying to be safe. I think being safe can make the most boring work in the world. If you don't have an identifiable style with your work, you can't stand out whatsoever from a bunch of other painters around you, then you're going to have much more trouble growing as an artist and selling your work, I would think. So you want to have something, whether it's the style, whether it's the theme, whether it's just what's in your paintings, what is the subject matter. There's so many aspects of the work that can really help you stand out as an individual. Don't think there's just one thing you have to do, like make sure your paint strokes are really big. Make sure that everything is a little bit different. And if you see somebody that happens to be doing something very similar to you, and you've never seen them before and they just happen to look like you, don't worry about that too much, but just try not to copy somebody else. That is the last thing you want to do. Now, what's the second thing that ChatGPT is thinking here? Well, it says innovation and progress. I get that. All right, so if you're trying to be unique, if you're trying to be different, it does allow for that innovation to happen. That makes sense to me. And you progress, obviously. You're innovating and you're progressing. I guess those are kind of the same thing. But again, ChatGPT, great job. Innovation and progress is another good one. But I think by leaving your mind open to new possibilities and letting yourself grow, that is another big aspect to being different, because where you're at now and where you're going to be at in 5, 10 years, It's going to be two totally different places. And if you hold back on letting yourself evolve and change, there's a good chance people will start to get bored with your work. So always allow your work to evolve, and that will really help you be different and become more different through the years that you're a painter. What do we have here? Well, I already talked about this a little bit, but number 3 is stand out in a crowded field. I already talked about that one, so we're going to skip that one, ChatGPT. But good point. Yes, stand out from the crowd, number 3. Number 4, emotional impact. I think we kind of touched on that, but yes, of course, if you're going to have unique work, you're going to have a unique emotional impact. So we'll skip that one. Well, I touched on it, but we're going to skip that one somewhat. Number 5, cultural and social commentary. Another good point. I don't think I'm going to dive into that one too much, but by having a different subject matter, having a different style, all those things will naturally make a different commentary. But cultural and social commentary, decide to get into those things if you want. I kind of avoid the cultural and social aspects with my work. It's more about the emotional side, so I don't get into social commentary too much with my work. Maybe others might disagree, but for me, I don't really think about that too much when I'm painting my stuff. The next one, personal fulfillment. Well, again, this sounds this sounds like a repeat from the last video I did. ChatGPT threw in this personal fulfillment. And again, I totally agree. If you're kind of holding yourself back and you are trying to be safe, you're not going to feel as fulfilled. So get crazy, do some crazy things with your artwork. Be as crazy as you can. Try something that makes everybody go, holy crap, what is this guy thinking? Or what is this girl thinking? Or what is this person thinking? So go all the way back there. You may have to pump the brakes a little bit. You might have to pull back a little bit, but just try it all. See what sticks. See what gets you noticed. Don't hold back, and you'll feel so much more fulfilled. Even if the ideas are nuts, they're just wacko, give it a try. Building a niche audience. Yeah, that one, number 7. There's only 8 of them here, but number 7, I would definitely agree with that one. I'm kind of in a niche myself. I think everybody, let's look at it this way. If there's 100 people that are creating landscapes and every one of these 100 artists look the same, guess what? It's going to be hard for you to stand out and get clients and get collectors that really want your work, because if they don't see anything unique to your work, they might pick one of those other 99 artists that are doing the exact same landscapes or whatever it is. Okay, number 8, diversifying the artistic landscape. Yeah, well, of course. Like, this is pretty obvious, but yeah, if you're going to have something that is way different from anybody else, you're diversifying the artistic landscape. Enough said on that one. I want to know if you found this helpful. I know we all struggle with this as artists, how authentic we want to be, how conservative we are, how much we balance making sure we sell our art versus how much we put people off by doing a little too much. There's a lot of considerations, but just be your authentic self. Have passion in what you're doing. You'll find a balance. You will definitely find a balance in what you're doing. And with all that in mind, I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. Thank you so much. Check out my Patreon page. You'll see some great tutorials on there. I share free artwork as well. Thank you so much, you artist freaks. I will talk to you again very soon.